You want to?
No.
You want to double it?
So last week, you remember, we peeked in the super to see what was going on. This week, we took a look at our scale measurements. In our scale measurements, what was it, Jim, for a weight gain?
8 pounds.
8
today.
pounds. And so, don't ask us what they're gaining the weight off of. We have no clue. And we're also having reports from some people. Bob Arnold up at his home place has got a weight gain in his hives at his home.
3 to 4 pounds.
3 to 4 pounds. Larry's got a gain out at Airway Heights in that area, or Cheney. So there's some areas that are still having honey come in, and we got it coming in here. So we're going to take out this first frame and take a look. We got brood there. Now remember last week we had about 6 frames of brood in the bottom box.
There's all kinds of larvae on the other side.
Okay, she's laying. Now look at all the, flew right in my mouth. So look at all the drones in there hanging on the outside edge. They like this time of year, they like to stay on the outside, out of the way of the middle. I might have to put my hood on. They're gonna fly in my mouth. So we got a frame of brood right there. Now remember, the size of the brood pattern is down from what it was. Another frame of brood, looking really good.
Look at all the eggs right there.
So she started laying with that increase in honey. Okay, that tells her to get going again. So this is excellent. And I bet that one's full too. So look, we don't see brood out to this edge anymore too much, and we're seeing them pull away from the bottom. So what you saw before early in the spring was bees everywhere, or brood everywhere on the frame, and now we're starting to see a shrunk pattern in the middle, but still a frame of brood. That's got to have eggs and larvae in it.
Yeah, that's good.
See, now this frame has got hatching out cells, and there's eggs and larvae in here, so we're getting close to where the queen is working. Now look, we've gone from pretty heavy cap frames to eggs and larvae and very little cap brood, so we'll just keep going. Now they're a little more, last week we worked these and they didn't even bother a single person. Today they're a little bit out here flying around our faces and stuff. Now we come into a bunch of cap brood right here. Look at that, it comes right down to here. Excellent. What's the other side look like? Cap brood. So we got 3 frames of cap brood right now. Isn't that nice? And the nice thing, it looks like we're doing real good in the bottom box. Look at that brood. We got a good chance she moved up on those.
Yeah.
We have 2 frames up on the top that were eggs last week, so she might be up there. Look at all that brood. Excellent. We're at 4 frames of brood.
You notice the inside frames, we've not seen one drone.
Those boys are smart. Couple drones here.
Yeah.
We're close to the
outside.
outside edge. What do we see in there for eggs or stuff? I sure don't see her.
There's no eggs here.
Okay. And the other side. Turn it so Chris can see. Yeah, we got good brood there. So we got about 4.5 frames right here. Let's take a quick look at the outside frame on this one just to confirm that it's honey. I thought last week it was honey.
Yeah, it is. I can see it.
So they're starting to fill this one with honey. Not a whole lot, but remember, early in the season, this was 8 frames of brood across the bottom. They've now stopped laying on the outside frames. we're going to turn this frame because the other side's got honey on it, so they can either lay eggs on it or they can put honey in it. Let's look at this one too. And we'll take a quick look here. A lot more honey on this frame and a lot of pollen in here, isn't it?
Yep.
So they're putting their winter pollen in, which is good. And this is pretty open. We'll leave that pollen frame to the inside so they got easy access to it for the brood. But remember, a lot of times your queen is going to come downstairs to lay in the spring, and that pollen will be sitting there waiting for her. So that's the idea behind keeping a little bit of pollen in the bottom. So we've got ourselves brood, 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 half brood. Okay? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and a half. Okay? And now we got these are probably total of 1 frame of honey out of 2 frames.
You want to put this on top now,
No,
or
we'll
test
work
it over here?
All honey?
Yeah.
Capped. Okay? The outside frame I can see down in there is totally capped. So I think last week we only had the middle 2 frames were a little bit of brood in it, capped brood. Or capped honey, I'm sorry.
Capped.
There's our brood frame we had last week. We still got brood on it. Let's look for El Quino.
All kinds of larvae up there.
So she's keeping these 2 frames for herself, but notice the corners, they're squeezing her in a little bit. You can see this, they've capped that honey, so they're happy with their honey storage right now. Doing an excellent job. I hate to say this, but this is like a textbook hive. Look at that cap brood there. If you remember last week, go look at the video that Chris posted. You'll see that was all eggs and larvae last week, both of these frames. So queen is downstairs, my guess, and we just missed her. Not a big deal. Nice looking. Wow. Okay. So what do we got? 3 there? Oh. All capped honey. So we've got 3 frames of brood upstairs. We've got 6 frames downstairs for a total of 8 and 9 frames of brood. We've actually gone up a frame of brood from last week.
Yep.
Okay, so just to tell you, that tells you this honey flow we got is turned the queen back on and she's laying really good. That's a grunter to get it on. We're glad Jim's still strong, not weak like me. Okay, today we're gonna switch. We know this box right here's got a lot of honey in it. We're gonna switch the one that's lighter and put it down. So we're gonna do that. A lot of times this facilitates. Let's take the lid off too. And we have those ugly, ugly white frames. Okay, so if we look here, there's lots of bees up here working them. And we take a quick look here. They're putting some decent weight in this frame. You can see it all right here, okay? And this is what happens when you have the good old plastic frames, which we've all learned to hate. because the bees like to put fur comb on everything they see. But you can see they're doing a pretty good job right there in the middle. Let's take a look at one of the outside ones here. It's barely got anything going on it, okay? Because you space it out 7 to an 8 frame box, you get a little bit of that during the season. You just cut it out. So as you can see, that looks pretty good. We're gonna set it over there. What it'll do is make it easier for the bees to put honey in it. And if they happen for some reason to need steal honey to go downstairs, those are the frames you want them to steal out of, not out of your super that you're getting ready to extract. So this hive right here is going to give us a box to extract for sure. Okay? If the honey flow stays going around here, we'll probably get that other box filled too. Now our bees up on Mount Spokane got about 40 to 50 pounds of honey in the supers, and they got 3 supers on. One of them is pretty much empty. We put more supers on up there because we usually get a really good fall honey flow if we get any rain at all. And they're just starting to fill the middle in. And we don't see any brood or anything in there, so we're in pretty good shape.
Almost ready to be capped.
Almost ready to be capped, and you've left a little spot there. So, we've got close to a box of honey here. The bees have really got enough honey in their main hive bodies right now for winter. We might have to move some of it around a little bit, but it's all there, okay? So Jim, shake this on top of that hive. We got a bunch of bees that crawl down below, and we'll put them back in the box. Just throw it to the side and I'll get it. We like to teach you to clean up your inner cover. It'll go on better, it comes off better the next time, and so it's pretty easy thing to do. It's really important to do if you have the plastic frames. We're slowly getting rid of them and slipping over to using wood frames. So after working this hive, we're going to go over and work the other one. We're not going to video it, but it is one that we had a new queen in. They requeened themselves, so we're going to take a look at it and see what we find. We did find the queen, and she was laying, and we had some eggs in there, so we've kind of left her alone for a few weeks, and we'll see what we got. Come on out, girl. There you are. Get out here in the middle where I can see you.
Oh, she went around back.
Just beautiful. A black tip. Why is it every time we have a canola and we raise it up here, it's a black tip? You never see them totally black.
Oh, there she is.
Don't she move around? Look at how big she is, though. Our homegrown queens are like that. They're big.